Can you begin the Diversey video, please? Can you begin with the Diversey video, please?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest show of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show Series Season 2. Today we are now down south for the first time with our latest show. It's a great panel. We have some stars on the panel, and it's another excellent topic today. The subject today is unlocking the power of smart tech. We're already in our third week, and this is our fifth show. Tomorrow we'll have a sixth show. Today we have the Bangalore panel. Tomorrow again we have the Bangalore panel. And going by the viewership numbers, we already have one big winner of a series. Most of you have watched it live, and then many have watched the recordings. Let me thank all our viewers, and also let me thank all the stars who've appeared on our shows, and also thank BW, and let me thank Diversey. Like I've always maintained, this is that one show that presents to you all some of the finest Indian hospitality, general management, leadership, and talent. They will lead this industry in times to come, some sooner than later. The reason why we do this GM show virtually is because it helps us to reach all GMs across the country without having to pull them out physically from their busy jobs. Busy, yes, they are a busy professional. The format of the series is regional. I'm sure by now you all know it, where we cover north, west, south, east, then we move into the northeast and central with 2 shows a week, every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. May I request you to block your calendar for the 2 days, 4 to 5 p.m. This show will be relayed on, this show is relayed online on weBBlast.com and across our social media platforms of YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Be there, follow us, encourage us to bring you more such gems. And last but not the least, thank you for all your encouragement and support. It means a lot to us. For those of you who've missed watching the show live last week, don't stress. The show recording can be viewed across weBBlast.com and our social media platforms. It's now time to get on with the show. Unlocking the power of smart technology. Technology is not something which is foreign to us. It's now an important driver across various verticals of a hotel's management. How can a general manager and his team to the last level manage by unlocking the power of smart technology? To run this show, to manage the show, to moderate the show, and put it all together with me is none other than this debonair young general manager, Madhav Sehgal. Madhav needs no introduction. Madhav is the Vice President and General Manager of the Leela Palace, Bangalore. Madhav.
Hi, Bhuvnesh.
Hi, welcome to the show, Madhav.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Can I see Madhav's slide, please? Next, I shall bring in Deepak Menezes, who's the General Manager of the ITC Windsor, Bangalore. I welcome to the show, Deepak. You're muted.
I said, thank you very much for having me on the show.
All right, pleasure. Next on show is Jaydev Datta, who's the General Manager of the Holiday Inn Bangalore Racecourse. Jaydev, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bhuvi, for organizing this show. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure's ours. Next on the show is the young, handsome, and graying Ruben Kataria, who's the General Manager, Four Seasons Hotel at Embassy One. Welcome to the show, Ruben.
Pleasure to be around here.
Yeah. And I log in from your hotel in Bangalore today.
Yes.
We're 21 stories apart. All right. Last but not the least, somebody I've known for long, not longer than Madhav. Madhav I've known since when he was almost new to the industry and very young, still is, Sanjay Gupta. Sanjay Gupta is the General Manager, Sheraton Grand Bengaluru Whitefield Hotel and Convention Center. Yeah. A relatively new import to Bangalore all the way from Jatland, Gurgaon. All right, welcome to the show, Sanjay.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's begin. All right, you'll have to mute yourself, please. Sanjay, mute. All right, I shall hand over the show to Madhav. Madhav.
George, where is George?
Where is George?
You have to bring George in.
So George is there. George, can you? Yeah. All right.
Surprise, surprise.
Sorry, George, I missed you. My apologies. Remember, even Hercules dropped it. All right. George Bennett Kuruvilla. I always thought he's a serious man. Then I realized he's more fun than he's serious. Somebody who's traveled all over the country and he's got a Punjabi part in the family, right? I don't need to explain that. George is the General Manager of the rather well-appointed Ritz-Carlton in Bangalore. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Bhuvanesh. Better late than never, as they say.
No, my apologies. I'm somebody who's butterfingers today because something happening at the back end which is taking my attention away. All right. Yeah, let's begin the show, Madhav.
Thank you so much, Bhuvnesh. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to moderate today. And it's a pleasure to be talking to all my friends from the city. We're in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India. So it's apt that, this subject revolves around tech and the implementation of tech in our business. With ESG and the growing responsibility of tech and role of tech in our business and things like blockchain and augmented reality and social media and IoT, etc., taking sort of dominance everywhere and becoming part of our day-to-day language more and more. I think today's discussion should be really something that should be insightful and something for all of us to learn from. Driving competitive edge is not going to be possible for us without the play of the right tech in our business. So I'll begin with you, Deepak. You're at the beautiful ITC Windsor. And importantly, revenue is probably a good place to start. So in what way do you think smart tech can help increase a hotel's revenue? Revenue management has changed a lot over the years, but your take on that interface of technology with revenue, and maybe if you could throw in some examples on how you deploy that in your day-to-day, that'll be great for us. Thank you.
Madhav, interesting question. And I think that's what we are all here for in Bangalore. After the COVID debacle, we've all been actually garnering revenues in Bangalore in a big way, especially in the last 1 year. I think digital and smart tech play a very important role in the business success of any of our hotels, and Bangalore is no different. And a deeper understanding of the businesses in the digital ecosystem becomes a lot more imperative for us as general managers. I mean, here are a few examples that come to me. Personalized guest experiences. I mean, smart tech, we all know this. We keep on gathering guest preferences and behaviors and data. And we try and tailor make the services, the experiences, which lead to higher, greater guest satisfaction. And this, of course, gives us referral business going forward. Few hotels have come out with express or automated check-in and check-out processes, digital concierge. They're very seamless and convenient. And a lot of clients today who are akin to this have a lot of favor, and tech here supports us. I think mine being a 41-year-old hotel, but what's coming out a lot more new in Bangalore are the smart room features in the new contemporary hotels. Implementing of these smart devices like voice-activated assistants, automated lighting, you have your own climate control in your rooms. I think this is the level of comfort and luxury that the potential guests look for. These are all positive points which come out in terms of reviews, and this leads to repeat bookings at your hotel. So this is how I think smart room features, by way of smart tech, helps us in getting better revenues. A key point here is the third one is data-driven pricing strategies. I think we all know about revenue management, how various tools help us to analyze market trends, guest behaviors, and how they have actually been buying us in the past and so on. At IDC Hotels, of course, we calculate demand forecasts. We tend to look at appropriate selling strategies, pricing, we open, close room, categories, and put them across at the best price where we can maximize our revenues. The fourth point, of course, is guest safety and security. In the last 1 decade, I think, all hotels, it's part of our DNA. We ought to open a hotel with really good safety and security systems where our guests feel comfortable. And I think the more they feel like that, they come to your hotel and refer this for future, thereby increasing revenues. And lastly, I think efficient energy management, which we employ in our hotel premises, can attract customers who are eco-friendly, or those who say they want to give back to the environment, and so on and so forth. I think today's customers are a lot more comfortable staying in hotels. We also have got corporates who support it. They also tend to send their employees to hotels which are eco-friendly. They can get those credits back into their system and so on and so forth. So by and large, I think smart tech, through its integration, leads to improved guest experiences, operational efficiencies. We can take data-driven decision, choices, and thereby increasing, revenues, and thereby improving profitability as such.
Thanks, Deepak. Those are great points. Each one of those can be sort of dissected and broken down, and we can talk more about those in more detail. Each one of those is so valuable. I really like that point about data-driven pricing strategies from a revenue management perspective, alone. And it's not easy to do. The airlines probably did it a lot earlier than before hotels started to do it, and we're sort of still catching up. You touched base on safety and security, George. You're at the beautiful Ritz-Carlton. Post-COVID, as Deepak mentioned, there has been a different outlook altogether on security and, more importantly, safety and well-being. So smart techs interface into that. What are your thoughts? Some practices, some things that you've seen that have really worked that you'd like to share?
Oh, absolutely, Madhav. And so I think I can elaborate on this, because this, further to what has been spoken on this aspect, I think it becomes paramount importance to us. So at the Ritz-Carlton Bangalore, for example, our commitment to leveraging smart tech extends beyond realm of convenience. So hotels can enhance guest safety, for example, with comfort, with the integration of all of the smart technology. Now, considering you're already in the Silicon Valley, the emphasis on all of the startups that happened, the beautiful gadgets that come out from here, obviously we can't be far behind in evolving on this aspect when it comes to being hotels in the city of Bengaluru, right? So the touched upon the aspect of, for example, the keyless entry. This in itself supports the entire safety and security part, and also to a great extent the privacy part that we talk about of our valued patrons, valued guests, right? And the whole aspect of mobile key, for example, in the company is a critical part of our strategy to drive, for example, member engagement. We talk about, the return on all of this investment that happens, and obviously what gets focused needs to have a measure to it, and obviously it needs to get a better and better. So this allows guests there, for example, integration with the smartphone. We are all aware of that. Implementing this keyless entry system allows guests to access their rooms, either using a smart card or a smartphone. And this eliminates, of course, let's keep sustainability in mind. We talk about eliminating wastage. You're removing the need of the physical key completely, We talk about, for example, the room automation. That's the second part that I wanted to focus a little more when we talk about, the safety, the security, and the smart automation part of this entire piece. So, for example, the technology allows guests to personalize their environment, making their stay more comfortable, convenient, allows the element of privacy in a guest room in many ways, because you're minimizing the number of physical entries that need to be made to a guest room, to provide various services through room automation, for example. Then we, of course, get into the guest communication part of it, which means with the help of the smart technology, the hotels can streamline guest communication. Mobile apps, in-room devices allow guests to request services such as room cleaning, enhancing convenience and efficiencies, etc. I think going forward, Deepak spoke about the aspect of guest analytics, data analytics, the usage of all of this. And I think smart technology allows hotels, for example, to gather valuable data. Of course, we've got to keep treat all of this with 100% security and safe environment. But analyzing this data, for example, can enhance personalized experiences. Imagine the return on investment of all of this, right? The repeat guest percentage when you implement all of these aspects into your day-to-day operation. When we talk about safety and security, let's also look at, for example, all emergency response systems at our hotels. Imagine a scenario where we've had to, it's not something which is optional, but now we integrate smart technology and significantly improve also the emergency response systems within hotels. So smart technology combining your fire alarms, your emergency notification systems, digital signage, for example. I mean, imagine minimizing the amount of transactions that used to happen. And we've evolved, we've come a very long way, when you look at each of those advances as we go along. And of course, in conclusion, let's not forget the value that is brought in by virtual assistants, by all our AI chatbots, for example, and it just brings in so much of ease of communication, transaction, which also then takes care of the aspect of safety and security, Madhav.
Well, that's great, George. I mean, that's That's really insightful stuff, right? And then as we talk like this, we realize how complex the function and responsibility of a general manager is, and how much expertise and knowledge he needs to have in so many diverse spectrums of life as such, right? Contactless business in an industry which is driven by contact, and interfacing it while creating guest experience and safety first and well-being always. Some great points, George. Thanks so much. I'm going to move forward to Sanjay, who's at the very grand Sheraton. Sanjay, we're, both answers touch base on some common points about data and large database, but also everything sort of faces the guest, right? And facing the guest experience standpoint. Some good examples already. What are your thoughts on using smart tech for guest experience management?
Good. Thank you, Madhav. That's a great question, because everything what we do, and what we've been doing past 20, 30 years is all to do with guest experiences, because they are the ones who actually pays our salary, to be very honest, Before I answer this question and dwell over this entire guest experience part, I'll take you a little bit, say, towards the journey, which is like 15, 20 years back, where we were taught that breakfast in a hotel is really very important, because that's the first meal a guest has. So the experience has to be really very good. Then came the science of how comfortable and how nice bed, and the experimentation on the mattresses and the bed and everything started happening. Then came the design decor element, So there's a lot of things which has got transformed over the years when we talk about guest experience. Now, to sum, every experience today which we give it to the guest is backed by a technology. Reason being, it doesn't only make the life of a hotelier or life of hotel really very easy, but it is also making it very personalized. Technology, we know, has become part of our day-to-day life. Our industry is witnessing this transformation very rapidly, and more rapidly after the COVID era, because when we were all going into a contactless service, technology came and played a very important role for all of us. Therefore, the constant growth and benefit of technology in a hotel industry has led huge increase in expectation from both guests and also hotel associates. The tech-savvy consumer are really focusing on hotel to accelerate and adopt the digital technology and become a smart hotel. And that's really very, very important. From operations to the guest experience to marketing, smart hotel technology offers variety of not only cost saving, but also revenue opportunity, which Deepak touched upon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the guest journey and try to incorporate technology into it and what are the benefits. So therefore, majority of the guests who prefers to experience personalized service during their stay in the hotel to accommodate more customer-centric experiences. As the company, we design guest-facing technology to enable them to personalize their stay and their individual needs as for their convenience. This not only allows the guest to use, say, for example, a mobile phone as a room key, which George has touched upon. So there's a lot of things which we have done in order to personalize this guest journey. George talked about the mobile key. I'm also going to talk about a little bit on the mobile key. It's so personalized that even before you are checking into the hotel, you know your room number. You don't have to actually go into a check-in counter or a reception. You can straight away walk into the hotel and go to your room, because now you know the room number. You enable your mobile key feature and your room door opens. And before you open your door, you have already checked in while you are coming from the airport to the hotel. And that's what a mobile key enables. It's not only smart, it's time saving, and it's really very, very fruitful, because along with the mobile key, there's a lot of other functions which you can actually do, which simply is a chat or maybe a mobile dining experience, So that's another feature which has made life of hotels and hotelier like us and even guests very, very convenient. He is tired, he may not want to go to the restaurant, opens his mobile, scans a QR code or sees a menu and orders. It's so much of saving of so much of steps in between taking the order, barking the order, giving it to the kitchen. It's through a screen everywhere. It gets featured. The food gets cooked in very, very less time and goes to his room or to the restaurant, wherever he opts to dine, The contactless check-in procedure through the iPads or the guest in-room entertainment system, which could be as simple as the Chromecast device, when I'm going to my room, I'm really very, very tired. I may not want to watch the TV channels, because I want to watch my kind of music. I want to watch my kind of programs or maybe my kind of movie. I just go into a Chromecast device from my mobile. I just log into the movie of my choice or log into a Netflix, and then I watch whatever I want to. So the journey has become seamless with technology. The journey has become comfortable with technology. The journey has become time-saving with the impact of technology now coming into the hotels. Overall, a very, very decent picture to plot for we hoteliers, and I'm sure in times to come, there will be even much more and much, much more simpler ways of using this. This is what my comment is, and this is what I thought that it has brought so seamless approach to guest and hotels both. Madhav.
Thanks, Sanjay. No, thanks again, once again, such depth and clarity at the same time. I appreciate your starting off by talking about generations of change, and hoteliers like us, I guess all of us on this panel, we've seen the older days of hoteliering, which were very different than what they are now. And a great point I sort of made note of for myself is that this tech is sort of changing the expectations of our guests. Their mindset and expectations are changing so much as they come in here, right? And thank you so much for those points. I'm going to move, building onto this, to my friend Ruben, who's with Bhuvnesh in the beautiful Four Seasons today. Ruben, so the hotel journey has obviously changed, the guest journey has changed, right? Safety, security, all these things. What about the life of a general manager? Many of these guys say, पुराने ज़माने में hotelier होते थे. They would be doing ABC in the lobby. This thing has taken over our lives. What are your thoughts?
We are lucky. We are lucky to be witness to a lot of that old stuff which happened. All this new tech which is happening, because we appreciate what those things brought on the table, and the new and emerging things which are helping us do our business and things better. I think what everybody is kind of saying, and the expectations of customer is to go offline, online, and it has to be seamless. You don't even realize today when you move into an online world to an offline world, and I think that's where we as general managers play a key role. And I'll go back to what basically a general manager's expectations from a general manager. The big ask is to manage the P&L, right? And we are responsible for the top line, and we are responsible for the bottom line. So all those points which, then there is the second point could be the reputation management, the sentiment management, which is today available, on our, at the click of a button. One very important point, which we haven't really touched upon, is the human resource management, development, and how the tech is enabling that, and also the negative impacts. And I'll touch base on those. And then very, very important, the safety and security, which George really, delved into. So from a top line perspective, I think, the fact that we have real-time data, ability to capture it, ability to analyze it, and ability to take actions, I think that makes it really important for our generation of general managers. Our adaptability and the fact that we could, work on that kind of quick data processing. We all know our revenue managers sit in the morning, and by the afternoon they're changing the rates, and then by the evening they're changing the rates again. It's so exciting, and at the same time it's all consuming as well. Sometimes you get sucked into this whole world of the the data which is coming along. Our ability to market, gone are the days when you were only limiting yourself. Today, with the booking.com, Expedia, you could just reach out to any market through meta ads. You could be in any market marketing your particular hotel to a particular set of clients you think will be able to take care of, or bring business to you. And then, of course, what George mentioned in the beginning, personalization, key. While we have the ability to go micro and touch a human a life and say, listen, this is what exactly we can do to personalize an experience for that guest. And that's probably what our earlier generation of general managers did. They personalized that impact. But today we actually can utilize the data and say, listen, how we can kind of create a pool of people customize it for a pool of guests, so that we would want to get the same kind of guests back. Everybody wants to do kind of a profile to say, listen, this is the kind of profile who comes and spends large amount of money, not only on the rooms, but also takes the food and beverage. So that ability is possible now with the tech. On the bottom line perspective, obviously the waste management, the BMS, all kinds of systems, inventories, whether it is to say people save, improve work-life balance for people, or save, time for our own selves, reduce the number of people. I think there is a fair amount of work which has been done, or even on the bottom line side. From the reputation management, I think the fact that today you can build your reputation very quickly, where to put money, where and how much to put money. It is also given as a guidance to you from the tech companies to managing your reputation and being able to say if there is a damage control you need to do, the ability to get that information in time and being able to control the narrative and control. I think that's also, again, one of the very, very important points. My favorite topic probably from the tech perspective would be the role of us and our teams to deal with this, this tech kind of speed, right? While a lot of people, a lot of our guests actually are also part of the same world. Earlier, people would, show their concerns and their complaints to you. They would talk to you. They would pick up the phone and convey it. Today, they are more comfortable putting it on a Google. They're more comfortable putting it on a social media site and review it. And our ability to communicate at that level with those guys and still make them feel that they're heard and we are genuine. I think that requires a sense of training from our side to our teams to, kind of make them more competitive on that front, because they're not having that conversation. There's no eye-to-eye contact. The negative part, I think, would be the fact that there is a blur between the private life and the personal life and the business life. You're bound to get exhausted, because the information continues to flow. The amount of information, the unreasonable expectations to respond, that is challenging. We had recently in one of our Four Seasons hotels, we actually said, there was a case study which was shared with us where a lot of youngsters complained to the fact that, earlier we used to have logbooks where we would send, put notes, and then the next day you come into your restaurant, right? And you would read down.
I remember those
notes, correct?
Yeah.
And your life would begin when you came to work. Now, because everybody's on a WhatsApp group, the information is fast, and then you're expected to read it during your off time. And if you're not done, it's not acceptable. And that's kind of putting pressure. That's also burning them out. While a lot of companies are now putting rules against, all these during your off days, you're not supposed to touch your phones, or people are not supposed to disturb. But these are all general conversations, and sometimes you feel that you've given the instruction. The restaurant manager or a supervisor, front office manager is saying, listen, I've given instructions, but the other guy is not reading. But we kind of blurring that. So it's got its pros and cons. And, I guess we all have to continue to evolve. It will take time. It'll be a lot of learning, and it'll be a lot of unlearning while, we continue to build, and probably hand the baton to the younger GMs.
Ruben, thanks. All of this resonates with the rest of the panel also, as it does with me. We are lucky to have experienced the old school hoteliering and to be aware of what that personalization was. We are, I guess, lucky also to be experiencing this personalization, which is so tech-based that they can talk to you through reviews and still think they're doing fairness and justice in terms of how we are talking and engaging and having a conversation here. That's the new state of being. And the fact that tech has just seeped into every aspect of our conscious and subconscious at the same time. You sleep with one eye open looking at WhatsApp. So thanks for that, Ruben. Jaydev, I'll come to you. You're at the beautiful property looking over the beautiful Bangalore Turf Club at the Holiday Inn. We've spoken about some interesting things. A slight tangent to this, maybe cleanliness and hygiene. Specifically cleanliness and hygiene, in your perspective, you're also part of a very large international brand. The introduction of smart tech there, and your thoughts and ideas and suggestions for us on that.
Well, Madhav, I think that's a great question. And I've heard all of you speaking, and what Ruben spoke is, I completely resonate with the fact that tech, there are flip side of the tech as well, but the fact remains that tech is going to stay and it's going to continue with our lives. And I would rather say it's more of an enabler in the way we do things. When I talk about cleanliness and hygiene has been something it's always been with us. From the time I think hotels have started, and from the inception, these two parameters of being clean and being hygienic is a given, right? So the assurance of a clean and a hygienic guest room and all hotel areas are something which we always prioritize on, whether tech is there or not. What actually has happened is, I think with COVID-19, we all said that we have probably been around for no tech days and tech days and evolving tech days, right? So last, I would say, about the COVID-19 period of 2 years has really, really amplified the need of smart tech solutions in every aspect of what we do in our lives. And cleanliness and hygiene is also a very important aspect of it. The use of smart technology and gadgets in maintaining clean and hygienic hotels is becoming more and more prevalent now. The smart gadgets make the environment cleaner, safer for the guests, and most importantly for the hotel employees. And this is something which we have learned during 2 years of COVID, and we take it forward. The smart tech gadgets are here to stay, and it's evolving more and more so forward. So as you did mention about my company, IIG is one of the largest companies in the hotel companies in the globe. And we are probably the front runners in evolving with technology. So something which we did during the pandemic is introduced a brand promise called IIG Clean Promise, which kinds of involves tech, human training, and people to start some great cleaning initiatives, which is kind of a brand promise to all the guests that yes, we assure you highest levels of cleanliness and hygienic standards, which is probably hospital grade standards in the hotel and all areas to make you feel safe. And that is what we have learned, and we continue in the days beyond the pandemic also. So some things which we have done in the company as part of our IIG Clean Promise initiative, which helps the employees and the guests as well, is we have gone completely no touch sensor, motion sensor based in all our areas. Our washrooms, public areas, even employee areas have completely sensor based taps and everything. this show is co-sponsored by Diversey. So I think we all good hotels use Diversey chemicals. They make some great cleaning agents, which is sustainable, biodegradable. That's again a part of technological development. We use some robotic cleaners in the areas. Robotic cleaners work very efficiently in pool cleaning. So UV cleaners help us also. Smart disinfectants. Something which my company introduced about a year back is an app-based room checklist, which enables the room attendant to check the room and probably record all deficiencies and gaps, which is integrated to our system. This tool is a great enabler for us in the self-checking mode, and it just creates a room history which is easily available. At the click of a button, I could figure out that these are things which needs to be corrected in the room, and probably at the end of the month I would know that from a particular room I've received so many defects. So I guess when we talk about tech in cleaning, cleaning and hygiene will always have a lot of manual involvement and intervention, but yes, tech only makes it great, efficient, and easier for all of us. So the fact remains that when we talk about smart gadgets and tech, this is going to cost us some money. This will require capital investments, which we have done. But trust me, the returns are great. In longer runs, you will run more efficient hotels, which are more sustainable. You spoke about ESG. I think ESG will not be something of a choice. It's recently SEBI is driving ESG for all top 1,000 companies. It no longer be a choice. You have to be ESG compliant if you run hotels. So smart technology will only make our lives easier. It's just that we need to use it efficiently and not be completely driven over by that. Yeah. So that's my take on running clean, hygienic hotels with use of technology.
Thank you. Those are again some great examples and great points. Cleanliness is next to godliness, as they say. So the promise of that has now evolved and grown quite a bit, and hospital grade stuff and robotic cleanliness. And I like that app-based checklist for housekeeping. I'm going to take that back with me for a thought on how they're doing that. So Bhuvnesh, how are we doing on time?
We're slightly behind, but I have to spin one past you.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So you're the moderator, you don't get away. Right?
Sure.
So let me throw one at you as a disruptor. In the past, hotels were able to control what information was shared with prospective guests. With the widespread digital information and proliferation of smart gadgets, guests give more weightage on reviews, right? And social media recommendations while choosing a hotel. As a hotelier, how do you see these disruptions and what are the advantages and disadvantages?
So thanks. So it's obvious, right, that we are no longer in that only word of mouth kind of communication from our guests. It's already been referred to earlier by the panel. It's now more of what's the word of the internet, what's your digital reputation, and how are you perceived in that world. Our hotels across the brand, we take our digital reputation quite seriously. Anurag and Anjali have been driving that for us. So on all platforms, TripAdvisor being one, and all other online review platforms, we want to make sure that we are seen as best as possible, and the image and the communication of our brand brings to life our ethos and our dharmas. Internally, our metrics, and everybody has the whole net promoter score and NPS targets, etc. We're pushing ourselves now to be, at the 90th percentile across the company as a benchmark and as a target for us. So this is obviously critical. Technology is interfaced into our lives now more than ever before. And the challenge is no longer just embracing technology, as is evident from the few points we've heard in the discussion we've had so far. The challenge is not embracing technology. The challenge is now embracing the change and the constant evolution in technology. So there are only advantages to this, to having digital communication with your guests across platforms. As much of it that you can control is in your hands, the better. So from your own portal, from your own website, from your own app, those are obviously the channels of communication you prefer. You capture a lot more data that you can leverage. The disadvantages are only if you decide not to play the game. and embrace technology, right? But if you're in India, if you're in Bangalore, if you're in the Silicon Valley of the country, and you have options of tech available to you, you don't have to, depending on your budget and to ROI, as referred to by Sanjay, also some of this stuff costs money, right? You have the ability to leverage in India and in the world now, I guess, technology at different levels. So you would be a fool not to. The only disadvantage would be if you don't play the game and embrace tech.
And also, Madhav, in many ways now, not many ways, but true across the board, is that technology is a great leveler. So you may be in a Ranchi or a Jhumri Talaiya or a Kalimpong or anywhere. As long as you've got internet and you've got broadband, you're up with it, and the apps are going to do the trick for you. If you're not app, your friendly portals will do it for you.
Yeah, it is a great leveler.
And also it's all live to an extent. What you are seeing, the customer is seeing, right? So nobody fools nobody.
Yeah, and you need to see what the customer is seeing before he does. Everybody's walking around with 3 cameras on their phone, so they'll capture things many times before you, and you don't want to be caught with the surprise.
Yep. So let me now just take a short 15 to 20 second break. Sure. I want to play the Diversey video. We had a slight glitch last time, but here we are. All right. So back to you, Madhav.
Thanks, Bhuvnesh. Thank you. I'm going to circle back to Deepak. Deepak, we've covered some good points about revenue, safety, guest experience, cleanliness. If I could request you to maybe talk a little bit specifically about marketing and how smart tech, AI are sort of changing the world of traditional marketing as we've seen it in the industry.
Well, I guess interesting points put across by our distinguished panelists. I think this is a really forward-looking question, and thanks for that. I'll try my best to give my point of view. I think artificial intelligence is not a thing of the future. We are in it right here actually, and we're living this era of smart tech through various facets of AI. AI has revolutionized traditional marketing strategies in several ways, and it has significantly contributed to and meaningfully to hotels' marketing initiatives in the recent past and going forward. I think some of the key points where AI is seen and will be experienced even more in depth are the following, in my point of view. Data analysis and insights. I think AI can process vast amounts of data so quickly and so accurately. This capability enables marketers to gain valuable insights into customer behaviors, preferences, trends, and allowing them to target more meaningfully and personalized marketing campaigns. AI algorithms can predict customer behavior and booking patterns, help hotels and anticipate demand, adjust pricing strategies, and maximize revenue during what we call as hotel peak periods. I think second one is about personalization. AI-driven algorithms can tailor marketing content and offers based on individual customer preferences and past engagements with the hotel brands or the hotels you've stayed in. All of us know that any personalized marketing has a higher chance of resonating with the potential guests, leading to high engagement levels and conversions. The third one that comes to mind is content creation. I mean, in today's age, our content has to be relevant, it has to be rich, it has to be pointed and to the target audience who we're looking forward to. So I think AI plays a very big role in social media posts, in blog articles, and so on, which marketers can save a lot of time. And by doing so, adhere also to the brand standards and guidelines of the respective hotels which have got their marketing guidelines to follow. Social media insights. I mean, we just saw the panelists speak about how the traditional hoteliering as the contemporary hoteliering and what hoteliering could be of the future. I think imagine AI trying to analyze all the social media conversations and understand guest sentiments. I think this is the one key word I'd like to specify further. Identify trends, and gauge the effectiveness of the marketing campaigns, allowing hotels to further refine the marketing initiatives for better results. And what comes to mind is also something called recommendation engines. I think you've seen this very fairly on airline booking portals, and it's now coming up in a strong way with hotels, where we recommend where AI helps to recommend hotel packages, amenities, nearby attractions, potential sellable opportunities, and so on for hotels. And this something that came across interestingly was, how can AI actually help in competition analysis? It can monitor competitors' marketing efforts, helps hotel stay better informed of the trends, and come out with better strategies, to be relevant and try and beat the competition. I think by and large, by harnessing AI and its strengths, we can create data-driven, personalized and targeted marketing campaigns which resonate with our audience. This leads to meaningful and impactful marketing efforts, ultimately driving in bookings, demand, guest satisfaction, and revenues. Having said that AI is here to stay and is going to intensify further, I'm of the opinion that our hotel business is purely based on relationships. And no amount of artificial intelligence alone can ever overpower human intelligence. I think as hoteliers of the future, and as we guide our teams and give our briefs to our marketing firms and so on, I think we need to have a careful balance of the application of technology, which is I'm talking of AI, and the personalization and the actual conversations that you have with our guests and with the target audience. So one has to be a lot careful rather than sounding to be generic and pointed. Yeah. See, I thought it was some of these.
Yeah. Those are again fantastic points, Deepak. Targeted campaigns and personalization. Importantly, sort of understanding the guest sentiment, and I like that point about understanding the competition better, right? Because it's not been easy to do before, is to get that guest sentiment for the competition. There are a few tools available, but I think that's going to really change. And you're right, it's going to evolve with the advent of AI even more so. So thank you for that, George. I'll come to you again. And I want to talk a little bit about sustainability and the role of tech in sustainability. Marriott, I'm sure, got a lot of initiatives for ESG overall as such. But what's your take on using? I think you referred to a couple of points earlier in your opening comments, but if you would elaborate a little bit more about that.
Well, most certainly. To begin with, look at it this way, sustainability, we talk about it. Today, look at the integration of smart technology. The fact that we are all speaking on a forum, normally this would have taken for us to visit a venue. And one of the things that comes foremost to my mind is we would have certainly burned some fuel getting there, right? I mean, look at the way we've managed to put this together. Full credit to you, Bhuvanesh, for that.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, the general managers don't have to leave their place of work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's as good as being there together.
Absolutely, we are contributing to the carbon emission footprint as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Madhav, going back on this, I'm really proud to share that, from a Marriott perspective, our commitment to sustainability and the integral role of technology plays in achieving a lot of our environmental goals today, you know. The intersection of technology and sustainability has become a driving force in the industry, as you know. And obviously, as Marriott and as the Ritz-Carlton, we can't be behind on that front. First and foremost, let's look at the energy efficiency aspects. Advanced systems such as, you know, smart thermostats, for example, we always could set it manually, but now we've got occupancy sensors, for example, automated lighting controls. All of this eventually reduces energy consumption, because what we're doing is optimizing the energy usage based on occupancy, based on preferences, using motion sensors and so on and so forth. So the energy management systems can now monitor and analyze energy usage, identifying the areas of improvement constantly. So this again, as we keep implementing newer technology and processes, we keep evolving and we keep improving on this front. Renewable energy, for example, that integration is paramount. Technology enables the integration of renewable energy resources. We all have used this in the past, but the integration of this through a smart technology is what makes it much more paramount and important for us, like the solar panels, subscribing to wind turbine energy, all the geothermal systems into our power grid today. So the smart grids and the energy storage systems, excess renewable energy can be stored for later use, for example. You know, all of this eventually is our huge sustainability measures. I mean, today we meet guests and we are so delighted to know that we are at the transformation of our guests. Our valued patrons are always seeking information on what are the sustainability measures that we put in place. Sometimes it becomes a key factor in decision making for the choice of hotel. So we can't be far behind in this, whether it's waste management, water conservation. Let's talk about remote monitoring and control, which is, you know, enabled devices, sensors, all of these things. Eventually, it is also helping us extend the lifespan of our asset. So that's another way you look at sustainability long term. And of course, to end with, let's not forget the digitalization and paperless operations. So adopting digital processes and eliminating paper-based operations reduces all the resource consumption, waste generation. We are thinking about our trees now. We want to keep that alive. We want to keep the green energies going. We want to keep the continuity with clean and fresh air, clean and fresh oxygen. And last but not the least, the evolution of the electric vehicle, sustainable transport for our guests. There are many aspects, and it just becomes so much more interesting, because one would think when we sort of you know, transgressed into this entire journey, we never realized that this would keep evolving, and you know, there is surely something like the sky's the limit, and we keep evolving on this aspect. So that's what my thoughts are on the sustainability aspect with us as hoteliers, as a hotel, as Marriott.
Thanks, George. Thank you so much. So important for us, right? I'm going to jump quickly forward. I know we're short of time. Bhuvnesh, is it okay if we take an extra 5 minutes?
we can do another 10 minutes.
Okay, great. So, but thanks again, George, for that. Thank you. Sanjay, we have not spoken today about food and beverage and kitchens in much detail. Yeah. And even the examples that we've all had are sort of the ones, you know, which are impacting the full asset overall in the guest experience. Could I request you maybe elaborate and talk a little bit about how you're using smart tech specifically for food and beverage, and if possible for your kitchens? Sorry, Sanjay, you're on mute.
On mute.
Fine now?
Yes.
Yeah, you good?
Yes, good. So, Madhav, thank you so much for asking this question. I was wondering why food and beverage becoming such a important facet of our industry and not been discussed. And really, it's a great pride for me to answer this question because I started from food and beverage, so it's somewhere at a part of my heart. This entire subject holds so much of respect and so much of honor. Yes, food and beverage cannot be not at the helm of affairs and not to be monetized. What we are doing in Marriott is that we have introduced sustainable digitalization in food and beverage and kitchens. A couple of examples are like screens in the kitchens to place the order. Those are gone are those days when you have to actually punch in the order, place the order. It's no more paper. It's you take a smart iPad to the guest, everything is featured over there, punch in some keys, take the order, write the instructions, write time, and it comes on the screen. So even a kitchen order ticket doesn't get printed in our kitchens today. It's all through a screen, right? And it's so sustainable. No use of paper, no cutting of trees. We can give back this way to the entire environment, and that's what Marriott is trying to do. Another great example of QR codes, for ordering food or doing payments on a contactless options. No use of paper at all. In fact, if you see my office, I do not have any paper. Do I have a printer? But I have seldom used it. So that's really very, very important, and it's necessary than a fancy implementation. It's giving back to our nature. Our initiatives predominantly revolves around reducing waste, saving energy, cutting down of any form of wastage. In food and beverage, one thing which I definitely want to speak about for next 1.5 minutes is the table management system. I think that's the greatest thing which has evolved at this point of time. Usually hotel F&B associates log on to different devices, reservation accounts to check several mails to consolidate reservations into various platforms into the hotel table management system. However, with smart tech, they will only need to log into one dashboard, which gives every bit of information integrated with various dining reservations platform to view all the reservations. So not only from an ease of operation, a lot of time saving, we leverage our technology to expertise digital food and beverage order capabilities via digital channels. And there are various companies who help us doing this, these both in-house or through a delivery order app. Okay. Use of digital menus in the restaurant, how much, say previously, if you see, the biggest factor used to be when a menu item was not available, and if by chance a guest orders and you have to cut a sorry figure, digital menu, nowhere an option like that. Whatever you have, you put it just 5 minutes before the menus are ready. Ever-changing menu, cyclical menu, so many good options and so much of ease of operation. And the last part which I wanted to talk about in food and beverage digitalization is use of data analytics. Of course, we use data analytics for the entire hotel. In food and beverage, data analytics also now plays an important role, to track consumer preferences that will improve our guest loyalties and customer satisfaction through loyalty programs, emailing of targeted audience, not sending spam mails, and so much more. So definitely food and beverage and digitalization and smart tech has been a seamless approach and has played really very, very important role. Times to come, it will be even better.
Thanks, Sanjay. Great examples. Some of them become the part of our day-to-day now post-COVID, but super. Thank you so much. Ruben, my friend, coming to you, you're at the beautiful Embassy property right now. Some of this tech and smart tech and AI and all is very expensive, right? Already the math of trying to make an ROI out of a hotel in India can be prohibitive at times. It's not easy. So from an investment perspective, what are your thoughts and sort of some of the challenges? And especially, I guess, if somebody's trying to upgrade their asset, how can they overcome these challenges, and what are your thoughts on that?
So I think the investment in tech is can be spread into two types of investments. One is the mandatory, your a particular tech has gone, it's towards the end of the cycle, you need to change it and bring it. There is technology which needs an upgradation. A certain particular switch is no more being produced by the company. You have to go ahead and spend that kind of money. Those are, again, I would put into the mandatory bucket. And then there is the wish bucket. Every hotel is in its own journey. It's very unique. You've opened 1 year ago or 5 years ago, or, like Deepak, 40 years ago. It's very, very important that any new investment into technology, it needs to be seen through that particular lens. And then there is this unit, there is unit versus the brand guidelines, right? What works today in a brand may be necessary into a unit or may not be. And that's a call which both the hotel ownership, the brand and the corporate side of it, and the general manager have to, and probably general manager comes in the last, usually when you're opening the hotel, general manager is brought in only a couple of months, and then he says, listen, I don't need it. But the brand says, no, you need it. And, the corporate says, listen, the ownership says you don't need it, but the brand says, no, you need it. So, you can't win that war, but it's very important to see it through the lens. In going to, what Sanjay was saying about, this digital. Now, we while we are hoteliers, we also know that there are various rungs of hotels. You have an Ibis, you have a Courtyard, you have a Tribute, you have a JW, you have a Sheraton, you have a convention hotel. And I think it's extremely important to know who's your customer and what do you really need. Does it make sense to put in so much technology when you may not really utilize it? And sometimes that is important and that is something which the brand needs to decide. And that's how I think they should go forward, rather than just because every other hotel is doing it, so we should do it. It shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben. That's candid and the truth and the honest points. It's not easy and there is no real answer or immediate solution to it. But I like how you broke it up between mandatory and sort of the wish list. And each unit does have its own journey. I've got one last question, Bhuvnesh, if I can take that and go back to Jaydev, my friend at the Turf Club. So, Jaydev, we've covered everything except, I think, other than a couple of hints on human resources and people-related application of smart tech. Your thoughts and inputs, please, on that would be great.
Thanks, Madhav. I think that's a great question, and I totally agree that we can always debate on tech as an enabler or a disruptor in our life, but I firmly believe that tech could be a greatest enabler when it comes to people, and people means our employees and our guests, creating much seamless communication and interfaces. I would like to break it down in a way that communication between tech as an enabler, or maybe between the employees and the guests, between the hotel and the guests, and between the hotel and the employees. So there are a few key elements which the tech would certainly help when it terms of dealing with people, be it employees or guests. So tech would create, I would say, a maximum effective communication, be it with the guests, be it with the employees, because it creates a certain seamless flow of communication between all stakeholders. Second, I would like to kind of mention that it creates certain level of automation, which increases efficiency and reduces errors. It creates ease and flexibility. With ease and flexibility, it's always easy to roll out certain changes and new initiatives. Tech could be a great enabler, probably in inducing changes. It induces simplicity. Tech can induce maximum simplicity. Effective technology can make things simple and uncomplicated in a way. Some of the great examples where, again, I would like to bring in My Hotel, which we use tech as a solution for the hotel team members and the guests. In terms of guests, we all agree that tech has kind of enabled greatly in distribution channels. Smart tech has made the interface between various distribution channels, booking channels, much more easier and much more seamless. Smart analytics and reports, it helps the hotel to identify opportunity areas based on consumer behavior and buying patterns. In terms of employees, I guess we have, I think when we hire youngsters, they are probably more tech savvy than what we are. So we have actually gone completely tech driven in terms of an employee life cycle, starting from sourcing out, hiring, onboarding an employee. It's become completely paperless, tech driven. Even goal settings, or in fact, employee appraisals have completely system driven nowadays. And I mean, going forward, I would see that, we spoke about AI. And AI could be the next disruptor in our business, which could probably bring in a more dynamic content and solution based on individual users, right? So yes, I mean, and going forward with the examples, what I can take also the examples which we use at IHGs. We have a system called Concerto, which integrates into a single window all inventory management, rate management, content management, reputation management. So it gives me a single window. I can probably keep a tab on everything with a click of a button. I think Sanjay spoke about F&B. We also have kind of evolved in that space. F&B is such an important part of our businesses. So in terms of CRM, table management, customer behavior management, tech plays a great role. We all have certain loyalty programs running at our respective companies. I think tech plays a great role there. Loyalty is what we all seek. It connects with our guests, and we all want our guests to come back. So smart apps, which are high on technology, is a great enabler there. These are some of the tech-based approaches which kind of makes our life seamless and easier between us, our guests, and our companies.
Super, Jaydev. No, those are great examples. I appreciate your sharing them, and thank you so much. That sort of brings us to the end of the set of questions that I had, Bhuvnesh. It's great to have had this conversation. I'm glad that I got a chance to sort of ask some of these questions. And it's obvious that the Internet of Things is now the new backbone of our industry and of our hotels independently, right? And we would be foolish not to think so. It's so evident that it's seeped into everything we're doing. And I think India is a great place to be because of the opportunity we've got with what's happening in Bangalore in the Silicon Valley and the amount of tech which is available to us. Obviously, people will remain at the forefront of things no matter what, right? So I look forward to meeting all of you in person. And thank you, Bhuvnesh. I'll hand over back to you.
So, anybody who's uncomfortable with technology, right, and finds it a little intrusive or controlling, take it away from them, take their WhatsApp away, take their mobile away, right? Send them back to the bank, get them to stand in lines, ask them to start counting cash, right? We'll talk to them. Look at UPI. Technology is such an enabler. It's helped us. It's brought us actually closer to our colleagues. It's brought us closer to where our source business is, our guests, right? So, yeah, thank God for technology. Thank God for all the apps that we have. Thank God for all the connects that we make. Like George said, look at it all. We didn't have to drive and burn carbon to meet each other, right? We're all there and it's pretty comfortable. And thank goodness for those 2 years of lockdown, we discovered Zoom, Google,
We did. Bhuvnesh, I want to make a note which I had earlier, which I didn't mention, is that
please.
This is your season 2, is it? Or what?
Yes, it is.
Season 1 was through COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just and I remember
of COVID.
I remember a lot of people trying different things, but I want to thank you and actually commend you for the work you did during COVID when you did these sessions. They kept everybody going and engaged, and in conversation like this, it went a long ways. And I just want to, and you had different levels, you had owners, you had investors, you had GMs, you had a lot of different discussions going on. So I just want to acknowledge that here once. So thank you very much for doing
Thanks, Madhav. That actually goes to all my colleagues who are at the back end. You know, there are a whole lot of them who are working on social media, posting your bites, somebody's recording, somebody's doing anything, right? Or the other. So it's all there. Yes, we feel extremely encouraged. Having said that, we also executed the world's biggest hospitality summit in 2020.
Yes.
Right. So that was the biggest, 2021. So that was virtual. It was over 5 days, and we had more than 200 speakers. We had more than 24 sessions. So yes, and Amitabh Kant was there. Why do I make a mention of this? Because we're coming back. We're coming back with the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality and Summit towards the 3rd and 4th week of August. I will not release the names. I've signed on today, right? We had our closure yesterday. It's going to be massive. It's going to be big, and you're all going to be there with me in Delhi. It's going to be at the AeroCity, so I won't let out more.
Sure.
All right. So
Okay, great.
that be that. Thank you all. Thank you for being there. Your being with us on show means a lot to us. And we planned for 20 to 24 shows. Going by the response that we are getting, we're getting feelers from everybody. The shows may extend past 30. All right. A bit on the next show, which is tomorrow, 28th of July, again, 4 to 5 p.m. Be there. Some of the finest general managers, again from Bangalore, are going to be there. Zubin Sungadwala is going to be leading this show. The topic is better sustainability practices, the need of the hour. So sustainability, diversity, and inclusion are high on my personal and office agenda, right? So, I'm married to the idea of diversity and inclusion, and I'm quite a miser when it comes to printing or spending money on anything which can go waste. Thank you all for being there. Madhav, you've been a great anchor. Let's put our hands together.
Thank you.
Madhav, and a very happy birthday to Simran.
Thank
Simran,
you.
if you're listening,
She's not here.
birthday. Simran is his better half, and our man has flown in the other day to be with her on her birthday in Delhi. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you, George, our first one together. Deepak, our first one together. Jaydev, our first one together. Ruben and Sanjay, not our first one together. Many more to go. Thank you for being there. And Ruben, thank you for hosting me for this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you, Ruby.
And
Thank
also,
you, Bhuvnesh.
and also to our industry. It's on a high. It's going places, right? This industry is going to be many times of what it is today in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. All right. So be there. Watch the fun.
Thanks,
Thank
Bhuvnesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank
Play
you.
the diversity video. Play the diversity video. Thank you all again. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.